was his fault.
You're at the controls. You're pilot in command. It's always your fault.
You said yurt. You kind of did say yurt. Okay, so I'll switch over here. Give me a second.
That's the Mongolian shift. Yurt to yurt to yurt.
That might be racist.
York, Norton, York.
My Swedish side is offended.
My center is grumpy.
I got it.
Grounded.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Sure. I figured it's not about your terminals.
No.
Yeah. It's a terminal diagnosis. It's grumpy.
I'm grumpy.
Hey, Jeff's mom, if you're listening to the podcast, I apologize for everything and anything I've ever said. I'm not really this retarded in real life.
Yes,
I'm
you
actually
are.
pretty cool.
Yes, you
You
are.
might actually like me, but don't like me too much. Anyways,
It's going to be storming all night. What are you talking about?
Bring it on. Tomorrow's going to be in the mid 50s. I'll be happy.
It'll also be storming. Not happy about that. Either way, so
But I won't be at work sweating my balls off like I was last
you don't
night.
have to sweat. It'll just be coming from the outside. You'll be wet from the outside in. It's even better.
Oh, Lord. It was muggy.
You're going to be swimming while standing.
Well, don't watch it with your mother. You'll never hear the end of it.
Maybe.
Why couldn't you be more like a cousin?
Well, I can't be like him in the very specific way that he is.
Oh.
I see her rolling up over black Cadillac, high heel boots and a sexy body full of tats.
We established
Yes.
that caca toogie toogie does not work.
And he was wrong. He was totally wrong. And not enough people have seen that movie. What movie is it?
Evolution?
Yes.
Yeah. I was like, Biodome? No, that's not right.
No, it's weirdly similar. Okay, yeah, for some reason episode 113 has a whole lot of views, but no comments or nothing. And then I didn't even do a teaser last week, and we still got 23 views over the weekend.
How's Rumble looking?
Same.
Yeah.
That's what I was saying is the fucking comments are still bullshit. Still getting the robot comments and whatnot. No emails, no nothing, so we're good there. Okay, so I've got my Quincy Jones article, and I've got my Neil Gaiman article, because Neil Gaiman...
And we lost the question from Shaun.
No, Shaun didn't send in a 5-minute question. Shaun sent me a 5-minute message about life.
Oh.
Yes. Okay, so making sure all the buttons are copacetic. My face is there. Your face is there.
Hi.
That was weird. It looked like it was like whenever it. Weird. Oh, you know why? Because I'm zoomed in. I forgot. I zoomed in from Saturday or whatever day I filmed the other day. Friday. I took the. Wait. What the? I'm not zoomed in at all. What the hell? Oh, it's doing that thing again. It's doing the thing again, Jeffy. That's annoying.
It does it every time.
Are you tapping your leg or something?
No.
Things are shaking.
Maybe.
It's like you can literally see the camera shake. Okay.
Yeah, maybe.
Don't do that.
I'll try.
Don't do it.
I told you today's going to be interesting.
Don't do it. Don't do the thing that you were doing. So I actually got to do a new experiment. So remember when I had you on the Patreon that one day?
Uh-huh.
So I had to do it the hard way, put like a wide cam for us and stuff like that. Last week, because Jordan was here, I actually figured out how to...
Oh, you had him on the Patreon?
Yeah,
Cool.
he came over to hang out. You know, he was feeling super bummed and wanted to come hang out, and I helped him put in some applications and search for jobs because he is currently sans job.
I thought he was gainfully employed doing construction stuff.
That gain went away
Damn.
very quickly. He may or may not have work in a little bit, but right now he currently has no job.
And he can only Elvis so much.
Yes, he can only Elvis so much. He is advertising his Elvising, but you know, it just depends on when people need an Elvis. Most people don't just need an Elvis, unfortunately. But
You know, your Friday night Elvis.
yeah. So what I figured out was like how we have our dual screen here like normal, which apparently is all jacked up, I think, from that particular instance. I can have this right here, as it currently sits, set as a virtual cam to go into StreamYards, so they will see that.
Okay.
So both cameras working at the same time, but I couldn't figure out how to also record that call for the Patreon call Turns out you can just have 2 instances of OBS open
Cool.
and record on one. I was like, oh, well, shit. I could have been doing that
The entire
the
time.
entire time. Like, even when Jessica would join me every now and then, I could have been doing that because we did a Halloween trivia night. Oh, and I also went to Halloween trivia at Copperhead.
Good.
On Halloween.
I worked.
That was fun, though. I had fun hanging out with the Chaos Witches.
Yeah, that was good grief. Did they play again?
No.
Yeah, no cops called.
No. But because the Chaos Goblins wanted to, have a tribute to Seth, they renamed themselves the Chaos Witches.
For the night.
For the night. And we won heftily. It was a lot of fun, even though like a couple core group members were not there. But it was nice getting back to trivia. Like,
so you joined the Chaos Witches?
Yeah.
Cool.
Because they invited me, like, hey, 2 of our people are going to be out.
Will got out of the house?
Yeah.
Good.
Well, apparently they haven't been missing trivia at all, so. Yeah, so that's not a problem. Because they even go to other people's trivias. They go to, like, Pacific Yard House and other stuff like that.
Those trivias, far too much pop culture knowledge for my tastes.
Well, that's kind of the point.
Yeah.
And maybe you need to integrate a little bit more into the pop culture.
No.
Do it. Become more in the pop culture.
And I did start watching Doom Patrol.
Oh, yeah. I've never watched that one.
Well, the first video, Alan Tudyk's one of the first people you see, and then Brendan Fraser's in it.
Tudyk. Ick. It's not an Ike.
I'm the guy who reads.
It's an ick.
Who cares?
Doesn't matter if you read. That's how his name's pronounced. It's like there's a difference between how you think his name is pronounced and how he says his name.
Oh, more to the point, I don't fucking care.
Yeah. Well, you could be.
Don't care.
You're Jeef.
Don't care.
You are Jeef. Jeef. You are now Jeef. That's your extra gerb. Yeah. Now. Oh yes.
No.
Now you need a work shirt that says Jeef.
Jeef.
I am here for my extra gerb.
Geef.
Geef. I am here for my extra gerb. Club Kalash. I am going to make the Sour Fat Kid merch though from the stuff I sent you.
Yep.
I sent you the one where it's actually like the candy.
I saw it. You posted it.
Yeah, so that was 2 different AI things thrown together.
Okay.
So I ran through about 50 different iterations to get the actual like characters, like the actual candy characters. So I found one that I liked. There were some very, very disturbing ones.
Only thing you left out was one of them needed to be angry.
No, it's fine. Because they're sour, but
They're
not,
sour.
Yeah, but they're not angry. They're just sour. They're sour tasting, but they're happy about it.
No, they're sour, but they taste sweet.
No, that's not how that works. But I couldn't exactly edit. Well, I could edit an angry face on there if I wanted to. But then I put in some of the first iterations were realistic looking, and it looked like this horrible fucking mutated glob human. And I'm like, no, this is not what I want. No. That is not this. Nope. And
Hit the less scary button.
Yes, it was definitely. It's like, let's get away from the ultra realistic. We're gonna go for cartoony. And then like the second one that popped up in the cartoons was that one. It was like, yes, this is exactly what I want. And then I went through about 100 iterations of the actual candy packaging to try to find one I liked and make it look semi-real. But the fact that it got the words right is impressive because AI usually fucks up words. Like I put it in quotes so that it would try to get it right. So I think I'm gonna put that out as some merch just for fun and see
fun.
What happens. But yeah, that was the events of last week. I was just starting to play around with the AI stuff. Actually, Jordan, in theory, is coming by later today after his interview. So he did have an interview today.
Good.
But it was with a staffing agency, and he's currently lined up for a job in Willis. So, hopefully he gets that. I feel bad for the
I
kid.
did the temp thing once right before I got with the sheriff's department. They had me sandblasting and powder coating.
Yeah.
It was tough work, but it was night shift, so I wasn't complaining too much.
Yeah. So, what day was that day? He came over. Oh, it was Wednesday because it was Patreon night. We went through Indeed and just scanned for fucking jobs. Like, dude, I've lived in my job for 18 fucking years, and the only other job I've applied for in that amount of time was at O'Reilly's to be a driver.
Yeah.
And I never heard back, despite my friend being a general manager. I was like, this is bullshit. Why did I not even get a phone call back? I know a guy. It's like, so I've literally had no idea how dumb it is to apply for jobs now. You can't just go in and get a paper thing and talk to a manager and then come by on Tuesday.
Yeah.
You got to go through like a 15-page rigmarole online if you even some places, even for bullshit jobs, they want a full. That's what I'm looking for. What's the
resume?
Resume. That's the word I'm looking for. It's not even close to the word that was in my head.
Book of employment.
Yes, book of employment. And so, I was watching him. He filled out one for the Home Depot, the big Home Depot distribution center they built not long ago.
Yeah.
And he said that one was ridiculous. That was like a 17-minute long application process. Doesn't sound like much until you're on your phone answering questions.
Why do you think I contract? It's so much easier.
Well, yeah, if you have a job that you can contract out for.
Yeah, true.
He's contract Elvising.
Here lately, I haven't even asked for the last 2 jobs I've been doing. They've just been, hey, we need help. Come help. Okay.
Yeah.
And then it just sticks around.
Well, do you need an Elvis-shaped guard for anything?
Who goes there?
Because maybe that would work. We just give him a gun and he patrols in his Elvis uniform. I don't know. As long as he gets paid for it, I don't think he'll care. Could you imagine him outside the Legion, flagging people?
Cape and everything.
Yeah. Actually, he didn't. I don't think he got the cape yet. He was saving up for it.
Oh, damn.
But either way, yeah, the cape,
whatever, blue towel, whatever.
Because the matching cape for his current costume was, I think, like $1,100.
Ooh wee.
Oh yeah, the official Elvis shit ain't cheap. It's all stupid expensive. Even the scarves that he gives away, the little satin scarves are expensive. For what they are. For satin scarves for people's they are expensive. So, okay. I don't have a good segue to get the show started, and I'm going to be mindful of time, so we're just going to get after it. Okay, good. Shaun just sent in a message, except for the fact that was across the earphones, and it wasn't supposed to be. So
Bad Shoky.
It wasn't my fault.
Uh-huh.
No, it was his fault.
You're at the controls. You're pilot in command. It's always your fault.
You said yurt. You kind of did say yurt. Okay, so I'll switch over here. Give me a second.
That's the Mongolian shift. Yurt to yurt to yurt.
That might be racist.
New York.
My Swedish side is offended.
My Swedish side is hungry.
Aren't they always? All right, so what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Now You Made It Awkward podcast, episode 117. Had to think about it.
Oh, crap. Yeah, it is.
Yeah, damn. That is right,
yeah.
Right? Yeah, okay. So I was like, the problem is I got so used to us being a week ahead, I forgot what it's like to be in the
moment.
Yeah. So I'm used to counting ahead. So I'm like, wait, which number am I at? I was almost because we were going over the numbers a minute ago. I forgot where we're at. So 117. We're approaching 120. I am Shoky. You can follow me at all the Shoky related links down below, whether that's Shoky Reviews, Shoky Reviews 2, or the It Doesn't Have to Make Sense live streaming channel. You can do that. And if you want to, you could definitely like and subscribe to this here channel on the YouTubes or on the Rumbles. But please, for the love of God, stop leaving comments. I don't want you to help me boost my social things, you stupid, silly bots. I'm very, very annoyed by it. And, of course, with me, as usual, is Jeef.
It's me.
It's Jeef.
The Hefe is here.
I'm totally making it say Jeef on the screen.
Oh, please don't.
I'm doing it.
You douche gonna.
You're going to be Jeef today. And, okay, so you have a new @ What is your new @ on the Instas?
On Instagram, I'm grounded in grumpy. One word.
Okay, so that's grounded in, as in I-N, not and.
Yeah.
I always thought it was grounded and grumpy.
No, grounded in grumpy.
So you, okay.
My center is grumpy.
I
Grounded.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Sure. I figured it's not about your terminals.
No.
Yeah. It's a terminal diagnosis. It's grumpy.
I'm grumpy.
Oh, that's a promo for sure.
He's grumpy in series.
Yeah, there you go. We chained it together, the grumpiness.
You have 48 volts.
120 amp.
There you go.
Fucking A. Oh, speaking of which, before we get, I'll come back to it after we do the thing, but there was a automotive issue that I was a part of.
Yeah.
And it was a very stupid situation that you would not have noticed if one had not dug into the research. So either way, guys, you can contact the show if you want with questions, comments, or the like at NowYouMadeItAwkwardMail@gmail.com, which is down in the description below. I swear to God, it works. Like it is a working email. Someone could probably use it. I mean, we did have somebody who was using it quite some time ago until he got angry and quit writing in. Yeah, he got offended by me liking a particular representative of the United States.
Well, that's his 100% God-given right to be wrong.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it is an opinion.
Yeah.
Not necessarily wrong, just dumb for
Yeah.
being mad about it. How about that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Your opinions are not wrong.
That's the
just
thing.
wrong to be mad about it.
People have forgotten how to be friends with people that don't agree with them. I mean, you can have completely different political views, but still be able to have a civil conversation.
We'll see about that after tomorrow.
Yeah.
Tomorrow's voting day, which, I have to talk about that.
You haven't yet.
I may have some problems.
Idiot.
I looked into it today. I may have an issue that did not foresee. So we'll see what happens. I'm going to try my best tomorrow.
Well, if all these illegals can vote, you can too.
You would think so, but no. Look, I'll tell them I'm Ukrainian. They'll let me right at the front of the line. All right. So either way, guys, of course, if you want to.
Don't forget your Halloween costume.
It's clean. It's clean now.
I'm Jeef.
My name is Jeef. Oh, no.
Oh, God.
No. I opened it. No, we're not doing it.
No.
Not doing it. But what you guys can do is, in fact, message us or contact us via the Facebook page. I'll just save
At
you a little
Now
bit.
You Made It Awkward podcast
Yeah, you got it,
on
Ed?
Facebook.
Yes, it's on the screen somewhere down there. It'll pop on the thing. It'll make a noise. It's also linked down below. One of these days, maybe I'll just make a link tree and just save some time.
Follow us here, and here.
Do the thing. Follow us in the places. Also, if you are listening on any of the audio platforms and you're downloading the thing, like and rate the freaking thing or leave comments behind. Too.
Yeah.
Because apparently on the audio platforms, we are not doing well at all.
Apparently not.
1 or 2 downloads a week, if at that. But here's the funny part. Out of nowhere,
Well, that's because we're not funny.
well, maybe we are. Or maybe I just don't classify anything. But I think one of the issues, something must have cleared up, or I don't know what happened, but all of a sudden I saw like 100 downloads in 1 week. Like somebody must have come through and downloaded the first 100 episodes.
Yeah.
Or something. Like out of nowhere. I was like, and I appreciate that.
The whole back catalog.
Yes, indeedy. Okay. And so you can, like I said, do the thing, join in the show like Shaun did.
You can talk to us. Help.
Let's see what Shaun sent in this week. I have no idea. Hopefully the audio is going to.
Our highway report. Yeah.
The highway report from Shaun. All right.
Question for the pod. Hey, let's keep it light this week since we're all probably fixing to die anyways. I got a question. Hey, Jeff, what's up, man? Hope you get some rest soon. Hey, Jeff's mom, if you listen to the podcast, I apologize for everything and anything I've ever said. I'm not really this retarded in real life.
Yes,
I'm
you
actually
are.
pretty cool.
Yes, you
You
are.
might actually like me, but don't like me too much. Anyways, so my question this week would be, how about some good memories of your mom? Tell me a good mom story.
So apparently this is being recorded on Mother's Day, 9 months late.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, just a joke. He's asking questions about the moms. So,
Yeah, I'm sure you have lots of great mom stories.
trying to think of good ones.
Warm, loving, caring,
Yep.
passionate.
Look, my mom cared. My mom loved. But she was hardly there.
My mom yelled.
She yelled. It was deserved. Usually. You know, I wasn't always the angel, you know. It's like I wasn't a bad kid, but, you know, I fucked up. I also talked back a lot, you know. But like,
Look, you talk back. Can't be wrong.
Shut the
ever.
fuck up.
No, I don't believe that at all.
no. Also, shout out to Marcus. I told him to shut the fuck up a lot the other day.
Did he deserve it?
Well, it was part of the character.
Oh, okay.
That was part of the character while I was in costume.
Ah,
I told him to shut the fuck up a lot. But it was more like, shut the fuck up, Marcus. I did that a lot. He laughed a lot.
that didn't get annoying at all, I'm sure.
No, he laughed a lot every time.
That's because you both were fucking smashed.
Well, not smashed. Either way, back to mom's. Trying to think, like, okay, fine. A good story. Like, I did learn basically all of my artistic skill set from my mom, at least initially, because she was an artist, you know, and like we used to do Bob Ross painting together when I was young. So we'd get a couple canvases, buy all the fucking oil or acrylic paints, whatever, and literally put up a fucking Bob Ross video and try to paint along with it. Mm-hmm. You know, so there's a couple. I don't even know whatever happened to any of my paintings, to be fair. I tried to get it. Trying to slide my finger over. I hope that actually came across because I'm not seeing it over here at all. I don't know what's going on.
We'll
with that.
see. Either that or we had a 15-second just silent break.
No, because last time I hit the button, it was there, but I don't know where it's at because normally it would come across as an audio form and I don't see it anywhere. It's really strange. But Shaun's message comes through that way. No idea.
Yep.
Really strange.
Anyway, tell us fun things about your mom.
Well, that was one fun thing about my mom. What about you?
One of my fondest memories involving my mother, so I always laugh at, I was junior high-ish, I believe. Sister was a couple years younger. And we like taking family vacations to float or canoe rivers. Because up in Missouri, where we were at the time, there's a lot of good ones. This particular trip, we went to the Jack Fork River, and it was low. Hadn't had rain in a while.
So it's more of a creek?
Kinda. So my dad and sister got in one canoe, me and Mom in the other one, and she says, baby, why don't you take the back, steer, make sure we go the right way? And I'm going, God, she's got a horrible decision. I have no idea what I'm doing.
Yeah, steer the canoe.
For real.
There's no wheel on this thing.
So me and Mom go banging our way down this creek, so low half the time. I'm in the back.
So to speak.
I'm pushing the canoe over rocks just because it's so low. Well, about halfway through the float, we
Doesn't seem like it's much of a float.
Well, we take a bend, we hit a deeper spot, and it's a tight bend. So I tell Mom to start digging, start turning, and I'm back paddling the other way. I want her to dig and paddle on the right so we can go left.
Yeah.
Well, she doesn't. She goes the other side. I'm trying to fight her off and counteract what she's doing. She leads herself right under a low-hanging tree branch, clotheslines herself, flipping us both out of the canoe.
Wow.
Cooler, fishing poles, everything's everywhere. So
wow. Well done, Jeff's mom.
And poor Mom, all she could do was just laugh and laugh and laugh while I'm trying to gather everything up. Dad's up ahead of us, laughing his ass off.
So how old are you at this point?
13, 12.
Okay, I didn't know if you were like young or not. Okay, yes. Yeah, so
no, but even at that age, I was adult size. I was a big kid.
Yeah. So I didn't know if I needed to imagine tiny child Jeff or
no, it was
like
man sized
or like medium bearded Jeff. Like it's just you, it's you but shorter.
7th grade, still a beard.
Yeah, it's like it's literally just you, but just a shrunken down version. 80%.
I was still a big kid.
80% Jeff.
You know, Dad owned that rent-to-own company in Missouri, and kept her out of Missouri.
Yeah.
And in junior high, I was doing deliveries and helping out, just doing full work of the rest of the guys.
Yeah. I had another thought, and the funny thing is, because my mom was like everybody's mom. You know,
she's a Kool-Aid mom.
Yeah, so she would take care of everybody. She grew up in a big family. You know, I was an only kid, so like my friends were also like her kids, right? Yeah. So this was much later in life. We were in our probably, let's see, it was when I was still working at Papa John's. So it had to have been when I was 20, like either 19 or 20. Mm-hmm. And it was a late night. All my friends had come over after work, and because we all closed together basically. And so we all come back to the house. We're hanging out, and we're not really like, we drink, but not like to excess or anything else like that. We're barely at all into drinking. Mm-hmm. And my parents had gone out.
Little baby alcoholics.
Yeah, basically. But like my parents had gone out, or maybe they'd gone out dancing or something back when they were still having fun. And Mom was fucking tipsy when they came home. We're hanging out on the porch, you know, just because it's a really nice night.
Mm-hmm. Kind of like tonight's going to be. It's going to be gorgeous. 62.
It's going to be storming all night. What are you talking about?
Bring it on. Tomorrow's going to be in the mid 50s. I'll be happy.
It'll also be storming. Not happy about that. Either way, so...
but I won't be at work sweating my balls off like I was last night.
You don't have to sweat. It'll just be coming from the outside. You'll be wet from the outside in. It's even better.
Oh, Lord. It was muggy.
You're going to be swimming while standing, much like in the river. But she comes home. She's tipsy, and she's like, ask everybody if they're hungry, and like makes everyone but me fucking breakfast at like 1 a.m.
Everyone but you.
Yes, everyone but me. Like fucking makes food for everybody. I'm like, Okay, and then so everybody fucking laughed about that shit forever. It was like me, Ken, Pig.
Your mom likes us more than she
JC.
does you.
That's always been the case. Because that's even the case like with Jessica. It's like, your mom loves me more than she loves you. I was like, and? I was like, your mom loves me more than she loves you. So she's like, that's possibly true. I was like, maybe. I mean, it's the joke anyways. I'm my mom's only child. So, my dad is mostly indifferent.
She got tired of you.
Look, I've made no bones about the fact that me and my mom have been at odds since I've became old enough to have reason of my own. And then she always resented me for not going into the military or not having some white collar fucking corporate job. Like, basically, like, she had this whole plan for my life, and at every single turn, I've defied her, whether by just accident or specific choice. Like, she was mad that my high school girlfriend talked me out of going into the Marines right before 9/11. I'm like, no, I'm pretty sound with that fucking decision at this point. The Navy, they came after me pretty hard with the Navy, so I really, really considered that, but I did not want to do either of the jobs they had me pegged for. I was like,
cook.
No, they wanted me to fucking be a nuclear sub-tech, and I'm like, It's like, I'm claustrophobic and can't swim.
Yep.
I'm not going to be in a big metal tube under
Put
the
me
water.
on a boat, maybe, but
Not even a boat. I'll be like, look, if you want me to do a Navy job, it's going to be a landlocked Navy
for
job.
real, you see how the seamen have to sleep, right? Yep, technical term.
Yep. No, yeah.
But to roll over, you have to get out and get back into bed.
Yeah. So, no, I could not have done it.
Yep.
I would not have been good on boats, would definitely not been good on
Especially
submarine.
now, I wouldn't fit.
My fucking anxiety.
It's like trying to like us trying to fit in a booth.
Yeah.
Like Denny's.
Yeah.
That don't not Denny's. Waffle House.
Yeah.
We don't fit.
No. Not any place that has a fixed.
Or Cheddar's. We don't fit at Cheddar's.
Cheddar's either? Well,
Nope.
that's pretty bad. Cheddar's is room. But I hate any place that has a booth that the table won't move.
Yeah.
If it's secured, I'm not going to eat there.
Most Mexican restaurants are safe.
There's a lot of other places that are just old enough that the fucking... Oh, by the way, we went to a couple new places.
Ooh, nice.
Just going completely off topic now. We'll find...
Squirrel.
Yeah, look, we got like an hour-ish to get done, so we got a lot to talk about. No, we went to... finally went to Camilla's Mexican place.
That place is great.
God damn, that was good, dude. Well, that was so good. We went there Saturday after I got off work.
I'm working over my birthday, and I don't think I'm doing anything because my son's birthday's the next day.
Yeah.
So I may just go to Camilla's and treat myself.
Yeah, well, call me.
Maybe. We'll
Dude,
see.
I got the brisket birria tacos.
Yeah, they're good.
Holy fuck, those were good. The service was shit. They were having all kinds of problems.
I've got 5 more jars of birria mix, and I'm thinking about making taking a pork shoulder and doing a
picanha. Do the picanha.
Do you want a jar of it so you can do it?
I mean, yeah.
You must share.
No. How much have you made that you didn't share?
Every time I go to Chad's, I'm always taking something.
Exactly. No. And then we went to where did we go yesterday? Oh, we went to First Watch for breakfast.
Too health conscious.
But it was so good.
It was?
Oh my god, it was good, dude. Like, I got their breakfast tacos. Turns out they had a double meat, double everything version. Totally didn't see it on the menu, or else I would have got that. I was full from the 3 tacos and the fucking black beans they gave me.
Nice.
Their black beans were fucking on point.
Good.
Like, most of them are like either too salty or too bland. Everything about it was on point. Jessica got a fucking like ridiculously loaded omelet. Their fucking like skillet potatoes, which were amazing.
Well, if Amy and I ever quit fighting, I might take her there.
Yeah, maybe. And even their in-house coffee wasn't terrible. So it was like an upscale IHOP.
Where'd we go a ways back? Magnolia Diner. About a month ago we went. It was good.
Yeah, Magnolia Diner's still pretty good. We haven't been out there in a long time, though. But so we went to those 2 places this weekend, and I do not regret it.
Nope.
It was fucking awesome. Now, and like, I feel so dumb. Is like, First Watch has been there for like a year and a half, or if not longer.
I grabbed something quick and easy for dinner a couple nights, and I was completely taken by surprise. Grabbed Pizza Hut, right?
Yeah.
I grabbed a pasta. Their chicken Alfredo pasta is outstanding.
Dude, like,
Completely taken off by surprise.
yeah, it's really weird, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's almost like they took Joe's, but like watered down Joe's slightly. And
Yeah.
it's still really
Because
fucking
Joe's
good.
is like super buttery, a layer of fat on top of your meal if you refrigerate it.
Well, I mean, that's how food is meant to be eaten.
Yeah, that's good
I mean, I leave. So I had this discussion with Richard the other night.
Mo butter.
I use. I don't drain the fat from my spaghetti anymore. Like, I leave it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I want that fucking flavor. But I do make sure that, it so everything kind of gets soaked in. I finish my noodles in the fucking sauce.
Yeah.
I don't do this whole noodles on a plate, top it with sauce. Like, no.
Depending
like
on what we do, I make a ragu or a ragu kind of crossed with an arrabbiata, so like a spicy meaty ragu, and that goes. We've always topped the spaghetti.
That's a weird noise.
But to keep the spaghetti from separating, we add some sauce into the spaghetti and mix it around.
Yeah, that's what you're supposed to do.
Yeah,
but I always finish it, so I usually do it
Mine,
about a minute and a half short, and then I take it out, throw it in the sauce, and I let it do about 5 minutes in the sauce at super low simmer.
Okay.
And then, but I also
might not work with ours because we always make so much extra, so we can do pizzas or lasagna or whatever.
Oh yeah. But yeah, if you have excess sauce, yes. But I'm having a jar of sauce.
Oh, I don't use a jar. I make scratch.
Yes, I don't do that. I'm lazy.
It's so
I adjust it.
Yeah.
I'd never go with just the flavor that's there. So I always add straight up extra Italian seasoning.
Oh, we'll do a spaghetti night one night if we all get together again.
We did spaghetti night.
We did, didn't we?
Yeah, it was the first night.
Yeah, I like spaghetti.
Yeah, the spaghetti's good.
Oh yeah, you know my spaghetti.
Yeah, it's like no, yeah, I got some of your spaghetti and then I fucked it up royally the next day when I tried to cook it.
Yeah, you tried to alter it.
No, that was when I didn't realize what was in the fucking crock pot was fucking soap.
Oh,
That's when I ruined the spaghetti. But
oh yeah,
I thought it was just grease that had solidified and forgot I had sprayed it down with fucking soap.
God.
And then I took a bite of it and I'm like, that tastes weird. And then like took another bite and then I realized what I did. And I was like, nope, that was bad. So yeah,
had some Don Boyardee.
yeah, exactly. It's literally what it was. Grease fighting. It's how you get thinner.
I'm gonna have diarrhea later.
Well, I drank a lot of milk immediately after to help myself. So, all right. So let's just get real into this. Oh, okay. So let's talk about you because you actually did a thing. You went to go see the new Venom movie.
I did go see the new Venom. It was great.
Give me the breakdown. Because I need to be talked into seeing this.
You've seen the other two?
Nope. I seen the first one, and it was garbage.
It wasn't bad.
It was garbage.
Well, the third one, the second one, second one had Woody Harrelson, right? He played Carnage.
Yeah.
That whole thing got after all that wrapped up. He was essentially on the run.
Yeah.
Ends up in Mexico.
That's why he's where he is.
This one starts in Mexico, and essentially God, I can't even remember what happened.
Pretty bad. You just watched it yesterday.
I know, right? It was fun.
Yeah. Well, I do know that.
Long story short, government keeps hunting him.
Yeah.
And
because he killed some FBI agents.
The Null Prince, I believe they called him, was locked away. The one that created all this.
You guys couldn't see me roll my eyes at that.
He almost broke his brain.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's what he was called.
He's a king. He's not a fucking
prince. Or is it the Null King? Anyway.
Null King makes sense.
Okay.
Null Prince.
He called him the Null King. But anywho.
Because that's his name.
He created the symbiotes.
Yes. He's the god of them.
But the symbiotes turned on him, locked him down into a prison.
Correct.
And he tells these basically symbiote hunters, look like big giant things.
Yeah.
Go get the codex.
Yeah.
And the codex is created when the symbiote and the human bond properly.
A perfect bond, yeah.
And is only shown when Venom takes his true form.
Yeah.
That is like a homing beacon for all the hunters.
Yeah, so here's the funny part. That is a storyline directly out of a completely different series.
Yeah.
Where it's like we can't use our powers because it'll show the bad guy where we are. So the way they get around having Venom in this movie is by not being allowed to be Venom.
Well,
like
he's still Venom a lot.
Yeah, but like 90% of the movies, not from what I heard.
No.
Compared to the other movies. He does Venom Horse.
Venom Horse was neat.
He does Venom other things, but he doesn't do
Venom Frog, Venom Fish.
So he literally just starts symbioting lots.
Well, he had to catch up to Eddie Brock.
Oh yeah,
floating down the river. And there were operatives that dropped in the river and they had these badass suits that had jet thrusters and stuff on them.
Basically, like Iron Man suits almost.
But it pushed them through water.
Yeah.
Oh. So, but
iron water suits.
So, symbiote Venom was having to make his way upriver to catch up to Eddie Brock. So he took over a fish, went faster, ate another fish, got bigger, and then
that's silly.
It was very, very silly, but they finally got away.
See, the funny thing is, okay, so they did adapt some of the King in Black story almost word for word there. So, but the thing that because Eddie is a perfect
bond, perfect match,
but also the fact that he had him for so long. But here's the other part is that because that universe is so limited. He hasn't got to go be on like Peter Parker. He hasn't been on Flash Thompson. He hasn't been on like all these other people.
But essentially, midway through the movie, they've been collecting and trapping all the symbiotes that crashed on another meteor.
Yeah.
And they're all different colors.
Mm-hmm. That's the way it goes.
Yep. But he, long story short, all the hunters show up going after Venom and Eddie.
Yeah.
That they break into what was in progress of being decommissioned Area 51.
Okay.
And their base was underground, 100 feet under that.
Okay.
Well, the hunters bust in, start tearing stuff up, and Venom and Eddie just go off and start. They set free the rest of the symbiotes, and they all fight, and you see the different personalities, and it was just neat.
So I assume that they did there was borrowed the rest of the separation anxiety.
So you know how
story.
they separated permanently in the end.
I know what happens in the end. Yes.
Okay.
The ending was technically spoiled for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but when it came to the other symbiotes, I assume there was like a yellowish one, an orangey
The pink
one.
and green and purple, and
So it was all of the other symbiotes that have spawned from Venom in the comics. The only one that
the one got away.
good.
That's
the one will never be seen again.
Well, one of the doctors
Okay.
had a vial with a little purple looking symbiote thing in it, stuck
Okay.
it in her pocket, and you never saw it again.
Okay. So there is a purple one in
So,
the comics. I forget which one that one
Venom
is.
sacrifices himself,
Yeah.
gathers all
Spoilers.
like the rest isn't.
Well, talking about the movie versus talking about the fucking main climax.
Okay, who didn't know that was going to happen though?
Most people.
Yeah.
It's only called Save the Last Dance or whatever.
Yeah.
It is. Isn't that weird? We got Save the Last Dance from not Top Gear, but Grand Tour, and we get Venom the Last Dance.
One for the road.
One for the road, whatever. Somebody else should have saved the Last Dance. I don't remember. Look, they're all dead. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, I knew what happened there. It's just the whole point.
I enjoyed the hell out of it. I thought it was great. There were some laugh out loud moments. I was cracking up, and you saw Mrs. Wong again, the little
yep, in Vegas. Yep.
and she was like a hot cougar.
Yeah, weird.
Dressed up all,
And then they did the whole dance number for some reason.
which was fun.
Yeah, but it's like, hey, by the way, these things are hunting us when we're like Venom. Let's do a dance number
Yeah, that was a little silly.
for some reason. So I shout out to Ryan George because I watched his pitch meeting for it. I don't know if you ever watched the pitch meeting videos? No. Oh, they're hilarious. It's like a 3-minute movie review, but from a comedic point of view.
Okay.
Yeah. But he's hilarious, so that's how I got. I mean, I'll probably watch it when it comes out to streaming. I'll watch all three because the first one was so bad. Like just the way it was put together was so bad.
It was rough. It
But
really
mostly-
was. But I think that was kind of the point.
Yeah, I think it was only because they made Venom, the symbiote Venom, before it had that name. They made it like a fugitive that escaped to Earth, and then Riot comes to Earth to find him for reasons. And then Riot, well, gets beat fairly well fucking handily. I mean, I don't know how he dealt with the Carnage thing. I've had no spoilers for the
Oh, that was great.
Yeah,
I'm not going to spoil it for
I
you.
assume it was fire.
Woody Harrelson did a fantastic job.
See, the funny thing is that like his teaser at the end of the first Venom movie was horrible because he had
It laid it out.
a ridiculous fucking hairdo, like completely ridiculous. It was
That
like,
doesn't get any better.
hey, let's take a primarily bald man and give him a really horrendous red wig and make him be Cletus Cassidy because that made sense. But either way, I mean, like I like the characters and I like the stories around Venom. I just don't think the movies really did it justice because they became comedies, and Venom is a very serious character.
That's
for
the
most
problem. A lot of these movies, it's become almost formulaic, like writing a popular song,
literally.
and you know that's just part of the formula. Throwing some comedy in there.
Yeah. Speaking of writing songs, music legend Quincy Jones just died.
I don't know who Quincy Jones is.
Well, let me give you a rundown of his fucking career. He basically was the one who made Michael Jackson famous on his own. So Quincy Jones, who expanded American Songbook as musician, composer, producer, shaped some of the biggest stars and most memorable songs in the second half of the 20th century, died at the age of 91. He is surrounded by his family in his home. Cause of death not made public, but odds are old.
Yeah,
He's fucking 91.
hardware failure.
Yeah. So basically, he was responsible for Michael Jackson's biggest singular albums. The three albums that basically made Michael Jackson, he was responsible for. He produced the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air show.
Okay.
He did an incredibly ridiculous long career. You know, he collaborated with people like Miles Davis, Charlie Parker, Dizzy Gillespie, Ray Charles. When he was young, he performed with like 16-year-old Ray Charles. Just fucking crazy. There were some comments in here I saw about the Beatles. He talked about how shitty they were as musicians and stuff like that, which was hilarious. But like he actually did a little bit of acting here and there. Like he was in a couple shows. I think he was actually on Fresh Prince of Bel-Air at some point. Which makes sense because he was producing the fucking show. But he was like all over show business and that early like type of music, but like just all over the world. You know, he was a big deal. Like whether or not most people probably even remember his fucking name, let alone the rest of it. This particular article, where am I on LA Times, has a lot of stories from people who knew him and stuff like that, which is pretty cool. But he had 30. Well, how many Grammys did he get? Was it 30 something? He had a fuckload of Grammys for a guy who didn't put out specific music of his own.
Yeah, a guy who didn't sing and dance.
Yeah, technically. So either way, he passed away. You know, another little sad story there, but still pretty fucking cool.
It's not sad. He's old.
No, I mean, it's still sad that he died for his family.
No, it's great that he died with his family and after a long life, and it wasn't a horrible accident. There are worse ways to go.
That's true. Well, assuming he wasn't in like horrendous fiery pain or something, you know, we don't know. We're just assuming there. Oh, he also did.
It's not a surprise that a 91-year-old person's going to pass away.
That part's true.
The surprise is a 40 or 30, 40, 50-year-old guy with a family. Yeah. That's the surprise. That's the sad thing.
He did also work with Frank Sinatra and a bunch of those guys too. So I mean, like he was in the world for quite some time. See, he also scored a lot of
meth.
No. Movies. The Deadly Affair, In the Heat of the Night, Bob and Carol, Ted and Alice.
All right.
They Call Me Mr. Tibbs, The Getaway. So he actually was doing score work with movies and stuff like that. I mean, I think it's actually a bit more sad that people don't know his name, considering he was massively influential for
but he was
like
always
50
behind the
years.
scenes. He was the person behind the scenes making things happen.
Yeah, he got in front of the camera a few times, but yeah it's true.
And those people never get recognized.
Yeah, well, composers rarely get recognized properly unless your name is John Williams, you know. So I think it's a big deal considering, but it's weird that like he's this literal giant book of accolades and most people don't even really know his name. You know, it's kind of, I mean, it's one thing for you to not.
Some people like it that way, though. They'd rather do the work, go home, and not be bothered with all the fame and everything else.
I don't think it was like that for him anyways. I think it was just, I don't know. I have to read a little bit more into it, but I think it's just impressive.
He's heavily in the business, just rarely in front of the camera.
Yeah, it's true.
And like I said, those are the cogs that drive everything forward. The stars wouldn't be able to get things done without people like that.
Yeah, and I think he's the kind of star that just wasn't, like you said, up front a lot of times, but he was responsible for so many things that are important in pop culture, or literally pop music or R&B music for that matter, that it's kind of like just kind of like
especially like Fresh Prince. If he was the producer, that means that it was because of him that everybody stayed on so long. That show ran as long as it did. Things just went. The actors meshed and melded. Because you're, as the producer, you're basically the coach.
Yeah,
your job's to make sure everybody's doing their part, everybody's getting along, and everybody's working together.
You're the glue that's holding the show together. You're not telling the actors what to do. You're making the show happen.
Yeah, you're greasing the wheels.
Yeah, or building the wheel.
Yeah,
in the first place. So yeah, excuse me. All right, so yeah, that came across earlier today, and I was like, all this other shit going on. I was like, I don't want to talk too much about politics today, even though voting, happens tomorrow, and then the day
Might
after,
not happen
and then
for you at all.
and then 3 weeks. Oh yeah, okay. So let me talk about that just right quick before I move on to this other news story. So I looked into it. I am technically registered to vote because I do the automatic thing. However, it's under my old address, so they are a little bit weird about how addresses work and where I technically can vote, because I never updated my address on my driver's license. However, so many other forms I have my current address on. So there's a conflict of addresses on whether or not. So I will check and see if I will go and I'll be like,
lot
hey.
of these polling places have registry available in the parking lot now. Register to vote kiosks.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
At least the early voting did in Walker County.
In theory, some of them, because I've got my main vote. I don't even think my voting location would really change because I'm not that far from where I came from. It's just a library.
But it's
so I'll check.
See if they have any of the kiosks in the parking lot. And it'll
depending on probably not in the rain, they won't, but we'll see.
But it'll be a dude with a machine next to him and a little stand.
Yeah, if it says that I'm good to go, then I'll go. And I already looked at the sample ballot and all that to see who's doing what. Most looks like it's pretty damn easy, from what I looked at for our county. There's a couple people in there I could give a shit less, and then there's the running unopposed stuff. So I'm just like, okay.
The ones I don't know, I'm like, independent.
Oh, I'm gonna pause for a second and bring up something to you real quick. Yes, it's going. Okay. I was like, I'm looking at it, make sure the numbers are moving again. I don't want to have another situations. So talking about famous deaths, the thing that overtook the fucking internet this weekend was the death of Peanut the Squirrel. You don't know about it.
Well, to preface that, I've been drowning myself in work and not watching TV at all for the past 2 weeks.
So you wouldn't see it on TV, but you would definitely see it on the internet. Actually, they probably talked about it when it happened, but then just immediately swept it under the rug because Kamala. But what happened was there is a squirrel that has been on TikTok, Instagram, everything else like that. It was a baby that was rescued by this guy. His mother died or was abandoned, whatever. It's like a Bambi problem.
Yeah, I've done it. Did it in high school.
Yeah, so rescued the squirrel. And they raised him for a little bit, tried to reintroduce him. He came back very, very injured, so they just kept him. And so they've had him in the home for like 7 fucking years. This only thing the squirrel knows. They've made a whole Instagram/TikTok thing about him. He is trained, like he follows commands. He can, the whatever. He's super friendly to the humans, the man and his wife.
Yeah, they're neat little guys.
But on top of that, he inspired them to start a foundation for helping rescuing similar type of animals. He's like their mascot and everything else like that. They also had a raccoon that I had the name of, and I think it's Fred. So they had a very similar problem with a baby raccoon. Also started raising it in the home alongside the squirrel, all this other stuff, making videos, raising them, videos of them, how to treat them and everything else like that. They also have rescued horses. They have everything else. They basically have a fucking farm full of rescue animals, and they have this whole foundation. This lady, as it came out over the weekend, someone discovered who filed the complaint. I'm not going to say her name because the internet's already put it out there, but basically she filed some form of complaint about a wild animal in someone's home with New York State. So it went all the way through the chain, and then that morning, fucking SWAT team shows up to their house, yanks them out of their fucking house, pulls them out onto the fucking lawn for 5 fucking hours while they searched the house for this fucking squirrel.
Did they have a warrant?
They had a warrant. They had everything. A warrant and a SWAT team to find a fucking furry animal. They turned their house inside out, fucking literally, like fucking opened everything. They said at some point they fucking took apart the dude's toilet to see if there was a squirrel in the toilet.
It's in a suit.
Like, what the fuck? Like, they trashed their fucking house looking for these animals. And then when they eventually did get him, also detained his wife, who was originally a German citizen, but now that she's married to an American citizen, she's legal. Yeah. They're fucking investigating her while sitting there. Basically, they treated this couple like a fucking set of criminals that were running a drug operation out of their fucking house. And then even when the guy said he needed to pee, they walked him to his bathroom, stood there and watched him piss, and then took apart the toilet to make sure he didn't do anything there, just to make sure. It's like, all this over a fucking squirrel. And when they finally got him from wherever they were, they took him away and killed both the squirrel and the fucking raccoon.
So here's my question.
Yeah.
If they're going to do all that over a couple small animals, what are they going to do when they want your guns? What are they going to do when they want to disarm the populace?
And that's well, it's New York State, so they don't care. But here's the other problem, and I posted this. They went to all of this trouble, going all the way up the chain, all the way to a fucking judge to get the warrant for this. Everyone along the path signed off on this, including sending a fucking SWAT team to this house. But you have criminals constantly committing major crimes in New York, illegal fucking aliens, harming people and getting out on the street within an hour, bragging about how many times they've been arrested and the government will do nothing. But the state of New York goes after a U.S. citizen, invades his private home, holds his wife basically hostage as though she's an illegal immigrant, trashes their home, and kills a pet that there's no fucking law against them having, apparently. Like, I know there are certain rules and stuff about housing, especially here in Texas. You generally can't have.
Well, with squirrels, you need a rehabilitator's license. I think.
Yeah, and they had
something similar,
and they did. They actually filed all the paperwork to be a fucking rehab thing, and it's gone all the way to the final fucking process.
Well, it looks like the city of New York's getting screwed like a motherfucker.
I think this was a state. This wasn't the city. They were outside of New York City.
Well, still, the state's getting sued.
They need to fucking sue the shit out of them.
Either that or it was a practice run to see what they can get away with and how they're going to do things in the future.
But and there's the other people who are like, well, why should we care? It was just a squirrel. I was like, why did the state care so much?
Why should you care? It's their individual constitutional rights that got trampled.
Yeah, literally. They basically were detained outside of their home while they rifled through their home doing God knows what. I mean, after you see
now, did they knock or did they breach?
They came to the door. So I'm sure if they didn't answer the door, they would have breached.
Okay.
Because obviously,
that's the thing. Those no-knock warrants are.
I'm sure it wasn't a no-knock warrant, but it was
because that's a good way to have an entourage follow you to the afterlife.
Yeah, that's how a lot of people die. Unfortunately, there's a whole big thing about no-knock warrants, but it was just the outrage is there because there were millions of fans of the squirrel worldwide, not just here in the U.S. Because it was just literally the world's most famous squirrel.
So that's what Hannity was talking about the Democrats backpedaling so much this week.
Yeah, but it's just the idea that they won't go after career criminals that are here illegally. They let them out to do harm to U.S. citizens, and then they fucking harm U.S. citizens to go after a fucking pet that's not doing anything to anyone. That they had filed the licenses and everything. They were just waiting on the final step. But this animal had literally lived with them for 7 fucking years. Was nothing new. Had been on the internet the entire fucking time.
Yeah,
it's not like they're like trying to claim, well, they were hiding the fact they were illegally harboring an animal. It's like by putting it on TikTok, they were fucking hiding it.
Why were they reported? Just out of malice or what?
That's what they think. They think that this bitch was fucking just jealous or had some kind of vindictive nature against him because she's another influencer out of Texas, but apparently now lives up there. And for whatever reason, she reported him. I'm assuming, and then she bragged about reporting them,
and then deleted everything.
And then deleted all of her socials.
Yeah.
But people, of course,
once it's out there, it's out there.
Yeah, the internet fucking immediately gets on top of that shit. So they put out her name. I'm not going to talk about that bitch though. Like, because I mean, if that was anybody else, like there are people who've done similar shit for like people who have like a whole bunch of pit bulls.
Yeah,
and like have babies. There are people who called in, said, "Hey, these people have dangerous dogs around their babies and children."
And my son was 2 when we got my first red nose, and they grew up, together as infants.
Yeah,
and one of the strongest bonds I've ever seen.
Yeah, and the thing is like, but they've had people do this locally to local situations for dogs, let alone a fucking exotic animal.
Yeah, and that's that's one of the reasons I've been hesitant to throw a lot of my own personal life on the internet. It's easier just to keep your mouth shut, go about your own business.
Yeah, generally, but. In this case, this was fucking ridiculous that it even happened. It's like, to be fair, like they owe them an apology, and well, basically they just got rid of a mascot for a fucking animal sanctuary, and a source of revenue for these people. So they should be able to sue for damages.
Lots.
It's like potential revenue they can compare to whatever they had before, and then now any kids, like this thing was friendly, so I mean, like I assume that. They probably would take it places to try to also educate. And I'm making assumptions here because that's a perfect educational animal.
A couple weekends ago when I was working that Saturday all day, lady had a baby kangaroo in a pouch with her.
Yeah, but that shit's legal.
Yeah.
The weird part is like what kind of crazy exotic animals you're allowed to have. but then you can't have a fucking squirrel that fell out of a tree in your backyard.
Yep.
That's nuts. Also, keeping a squirrel alive for 7 years is pretty cool.
We had we called her Sweetness. We had Sweetness until she became full grown. My mom found her in the chicken coop. Chickens were pecking at her, and this tiny itty bitty little squirrel was jumping and attacking back every time.
No shit.
Yeah, so a lot of heart.
Wow.
So we scooped her up, got a cage, and just raised her up. She'd get in your shirt with her claws to the outside and run around and around and around.
Yeah.
Tickle the hell out of you.
I would hate that. Personally, I have enough furriness.
But we
on.
finally let her go, and she scared the hell out of me one day. I was outside and landed on my head.
Yeah.
Just out of nowhere. Hey, what you doing?
You're just like, ah!
And then she brought babies back for a couple of years.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's cool. That's cute.
Yeah, it was a neat little squirrel.
Yeah. Well, I had a cousin who had, was it my cousin or was it my cousin's? It was my cousin's boyfriend way back when. And he had a pet squirrel, but he kept it in like a dog cage. And then it died by choking on a fucking acorn.
God, greedy little bastard.
At a like a family get together. Like I remember this. It was a big deal. So another thing that was in the news and something I forgot to talk about in my watchings lately, I watched Good Omens. Have you seen that?
I've been contemplating it.
Okay.
I like both the actors.
Yes. So it's the first season is solid. The second season is like, what the fuck is happening? Because like there is a mystery going on in the background, but I mean like they kind of shift the tone quite a bit in the second season.
But yeah, David Tennant's one of my favorite actors.
David Tennant is great as oh damn, I forgot his fucking name from the show. Because they're
Gabrielle.
No. They have all the big name angels and they have all the big name demons. I'm trying to remember his name. Crowley.
They pronounce it different.
It's Crowley.
So,
but
but Supernatural pronounces it Crowley.
Yes, but the thing is that he has also changed his name over the millennia. But like, okay, so it's a Neil Gaiman show, and I believe he wrote the books initially. I could be wrong, but it's like a co-authored thing. It was him and somebody Perry. I always forget. Oh, I could just pull up the article that's right here. That helps. So there's an issue. Apparently Neil Gaiman did some naughty things, and all his current projects have been put on hold.
What did Neil Gaiman do?
Naughty things with women.
Oh,
Forceful naughty things.
fucking! It's everybody.
Allegedly, because he has not gone to court about anything yet. There's a growing list of women who apparently he has done some not so great things to across New Zealand and a few other places.
Good grief!
Whether it's true or not, that's yet to be seen. You know, whatever has to happen. But Good Omens season 3 was taken from a full season to a 90-minute special to end the show.
No way! So they just ended it horribly.
But it hasn't happened yet.
Okay.
So it has not released yet.
Because it's going to be such an unsatisfying ending to everything.
Maybe. But so they're not. Wow, I didn't read this. Production was delayed and it begins in 2025. So we won't even get season 3 finale for a while. I didn't like how season 2 ended at all. I'm not going to spoil anything because it's a good show, but season 2 is pretty boring compared to season 1. It really is. Season 1 was a big fucking
I'm
deal.
one to talk. When I can't find anything, I just throw House back on.
Yeah, just don't watch season 1.
That's where I'm at.
Season 1 had that horrible color grading that I had no clue what the fuck they were doing. Why? Why does season 1 look like that? It's so ugly.
Well,
Everything's orange and blue
yeah.
on purpose. They figured that that's almost like the first season of The Office when Michael has his like slicked back hair and like they hadn't figured out the characters quite yet, even though they're just copying the British Office. Okay. So more things that were canceled or delayed right now. The Graveyard Book, never even knew about that, but apparently it's another book of his. So that was a show that was being produced and not now. Dead Boy Detectives was canceled. So they don't know if it was because of that or something else, but apparently that was but the next thing that I'm interested in is something I mentioned to you, but in passing, the Sandman series.
Really? You like Metallica that much?
I do like Enter Sandman, but the series is based off the DC/Vertigo comic books.
Okay.
And it's one of the best direct adaptations of a comic book ever. It's a fantastic fucking show. And season 2, they were worried because it came out 5 fucking years ago. It has taken this long to get season 2. So luckily, season 2 was done before this shit was going. So it will be dropping sometime soon. But I've been watching a bunch of clips and different stuff from the first season. I forgot how good that show was. I think you would really enjoy it because, like,
What, Good Omens?
well, both Good Omens and The Sandman.
The Sandman. Okay.
So they're both Neil Gaiman books / comic books.
okay.
But it's like,
But you just got to pray they don't screw it up and making it into a series.
what?
The Sandman.
No, it is a series.
Oh, okay.
I just said that. I just said it was a series.
I told you today it was going to be
season
interesting.
2. Yeah, so no, watch the season. Watch
Okay.
season 1. It's on Netflix. Make a note. I think it's 11 episodes total of season 1, and it takes like the first 2 main story arcs of the comics, and then a couple extras at the end, which are really, really well done. They do a split final episode that's 2 separate stories that they just said, fuck it, these are done, just throw them in there for fluff. But it's really well acted. There's one episode 6 is everyone's favorite. It's
The Sandman?
The Sandman, yes.
Okay.
Yep. And it's really well acted. You'll recognize some faces.
And you said, and
Good Omens.
Good Omens was on Prime, right?
Yes. Well, because I've been watching shit on Hulu too, so I was like, wait, which one's which now? So yeah, I forgot to mention that. I literally spent 2 weeks watching that, and I was like, when is season 3 coming? And then they're like, season 3 is wrought with problems because of Neil Gaiman. I was like, oh crap, what happened? So that's how I found the story today. I was like, oh, that's not good. But he was Gaiman was a pretty prolific writer, and turning a lot of his stuff into movies and TV shows. Obviously, usually pretty well done. In this case, 2 of his biggest things, Good Omens, and that adapted incredibly well. Although I think he changed some stuff for Good Omens season 2. And there's a weird mystery that I saw in comments earlier. I'm like, I didn't even think about that. That's weird. Why is that like that? Because a particular character is just missing, and nobody seems to mention that character is missing. So very interesting. But also a whole lot of Doctor Who familiar faces in.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but between both series, actually, between Sandman and the other one, yeah. And if I recall correctly, David Tennant voices some characters in the Sandman. So Gaiman has a lot of people that he goes to do a lot of these same things. But yeah, I like the characters, and mostly because I like the actors, I think.
That has a lot to do with it.
Oh, John Hamm. John Hamm is in Good Omens,
Nice.
and he's playing Gabriel, the Archangel. And oh my God, to make the pun, he is hamming it up the whole time. John Hamm,
Kind of like Walkins.
yes,
Yeah.
like John Hamm was like such a serious character for like the longest time, and then once he got away from like Mad Men, being I guess serious is a stretch, but once he started flexing his comedic chops, John Hamm is fucking ridiculous. It's like, and he's trying to play a super serious character, being Gabriel the Archangel, but he's a fucking moron. But that's kind of the point. Is like all of the demons and angel hierarchy are all kind of set in their ways and stupid.
And more insulated from the changes around them. So,
Maybe, but
so they're kind of like the jocks that never learned anything and just keep doing everything they've always done.
yes,
Yeah.
that is very much the Archangel class. Because the cool thing is, one thing about it is they do stick to a lot of actual like biblical lore a little bit closer.
But they're very literal, this is how it is. There's no gray area.
Kind of.
Yeah.
But also the idea that in like the Book of Enoch and stuff, they talk about how demons are actually fallen angels, whereas Supernatural took demons to be corrupted human souls.
Mm-hmm.
So they actually, Crowley was an angel and he becomes a demon.
Yeah.
And so what the cool thing about the series is it starts off at the Garden of Eden, and like you see how or what happens effectively.
Don't eat that.
Yeah. So it starts out with how that goes, and then basically you follow these two. It feels like Hitchhiker's Guide a little bit.
Oh, nice.
With the way the voiceover works and how ridiculous some of it is. So the opening monologue is like talking about how
in the beginning, God created.
Yes, but the funny part is with the way they go about it, they say like, yeah, philosophers and historians have debated how old a human life is and how long the Earth has been around, and then they literally say it's like, well, actually, it's only about 4,122 years old and started on a Thursday. It's like it's like okay, it's like so it's like even though we have all this history. It's like, nope, it's literally only this box of how old the Earth actually is. It was just like, okay, that's actually really funny. But then they completely contradict that later, I guess, as part of the joke. Like, okay, so we know it's this old, but is it, you know?
Yeah.
And there's a lot of comedy, but then there's a lot of seriousness, and it does cover a lot of similar story to what Supernatural did, especially in the early seasons.
They're not just rolling through Revelation, stuff like that?
They do, but in their own way.
Yeah.
And they do portray different angels and demons very differently to how we see them.
Of course, they had to have done the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse and all
They
that.
do the 4 horsemen.
And then behold, I see a white horse.
Yes. So they do. Basically, the first season is trying to get through Revelation.
And what is it? And its rider is death or something like that.
Yes, exactly. So they go through
Pale Horse.
Pale Horse, yes. So they go through Revelations in like the first season.
Okay.
Very interesting take on the situation, but I don't want to spoil anything just because the story is that funny. They give you this what's going to happen like right at the beginning, and then you get to see how the fuck you get from point A to point B and how fucked up they got along the path. Like, and so the fun part is they keep doing flashbacks to different time periods, and you see where Crowley and I always forget how to say his name, Aziraphale. So that's Martin Sheen's character.
Okay.
Martin Sheen? I can always get his name wrong. No, something Sheen.
Charlie.
Michael Sheen. Michael Sheen. I did this last time. He's the unknown Sheen.
No Charlie Sheen.
No Charlie Sheen.
Definitely not an angel.
No. So you see them running into each other throughout history. So they even do an episode where they run into each other at Jesus' crucifixion.
Yeah.
And it's like, man, it's like, what did he do? He's like, he told everybody to get along and love one another. And he's like, oh.
Yeah, he's screwed.
He's like, yeah. Yeah. So it's just kind of funny. It's like, I tempted him once. I showed him all the kingdoms that he could have. It's like, so they kind of take Crowley and give him a lot of what Satan does. Mm-hmm. But if you consider Satan just means the enemy.
Yeah.
So he's not Lucifer, because Lucifer is technically a character. So you see like the differential between what the demons do. They have a whole section.
So they don't branch it out. No Angel of October or anything like that.
No.
Barbiel coming in to kick ass and snipe wise.
Nope, they don't do that. But who is it? Not Job. There's another guy. Maybe it was Job. But they do a whole section on. Crowley shows up and he like starts making this giant fireball. He's about to start raining down hell on these goats and everything. And then Aziraphale comes in. He's like, "Stop there, demon!" And he's like, "Oh, it's you," because he hadn't seen him in a couple thousand years. And he's like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "I'm here to stop you." He's like, "Well, I have a permit." He's like, "What?" Because that was when Lucifer, or when the devil and God made a thing about basically like, we're going to punish him.
The entire tribulations.
Yeah, we're gonna
trials of Job. It was awful.
The trials of Job, but they make a joke of it. But the funny part is they do the visual gag that he pulls out the actual the contract, the scroll. It goes all the way around the world and comes back around over there. And he's like, huh.
Okay,
like,
I'm gonna have to get into that.
Yeah, but it's just like, it's like basically like all the like Satan and the denizens of hell can rain down all this horrible stuff upon Job until we settle this. And it's like, so God and the devil made a deal on this, and he's like, yeah. Well, what did they bet? It's like literally because they don't tell everyone everything. It's like, so that's just kind of funny. But then they also play into how you can live in the gray, how Crowley was an angel who was kicked out of heaven. That's why he's a demon. But then you have Aziraphale who becomes friends with a demon and starts lying to heaven, and Crowley starts lying to hell. And they both just kind of at one point want to just chill out on Earth and not be a part of any of the bullshit. And they keep getting stuck in the middle of it no matter what. Mm-hmm. Almost like they're fated to fucking be in the middle of everything. But then once you get to having John Hamm's character introduced in season 2 as a running character in the middle of them, and the hilarity that ensues from there, it's very interesting. But the second season, you can tell, was definitely probably during COVID, because it's a very small set, and while they have a lot of people, it seems like they probably digitally put in a whole lot of people. It basically takes place between the heaven set, the hell set, and like the street that they live/work on.
Okay.
And that's it. Like these maybe 4 total sets, because there's the graveyard set too that's only got 1 set piece.
So they did what they could with what they had.
And it's like, it doesn't feel like a very grand scale where season 1 did a lot of outside shots and stuff like this. This felt like they were always on a back lot.
Good Omen, was that BBC or
No, it was just straight to Amazon.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, it's all BBC people.
Yeah.
Other than John Hamm, I don't know that many more Americans that are actually in the show. But it sucks that it has to wrap up with a 90-minute movie, basically. But
because some dude can't, not be a dick.
Not use it.
Yeah.
Allegedly. Now, here's the thing. I have not read the books. I have no idea where the story is going. Where it left off, I'm a little...
Oh, there's books. I'll get those.
Yeah. And I'm sure they're probably read by Neil Gaiman.
Okay.
Yeah. Or actually, I don't know who voices them, to be fair. But
if we're lucky, John Hamm.
If John Hamm did the narration for, assuming it matches up to season 2, that would be a lot of fun if that's actually what they did.
I looked the other day for audiobooks narrated by Patrick Warburton.
Oh, yeah?
None.
How?
None that I can find.
How is that possible?
None on Audible, at least.
Is there anybody pretending to be Patrick Warburton?
God, please, because I would love to hear.
Yeah. Oh, thing I just discovered and started watching today. I didn't know it came back. So it was a show that I picked up 2 years ago. Yeah, 2 years ago. It's called Somebody Somewhere.
Okay.
And it's on HBO, or now Max. And it stars my cousin. Legitimately, my cousin Jeff.
Really?
Yeah. So I never knew that it came back for a second and a third season. I was so far behind. We watched the whole first season, and like it was pretty good. I mean, it's basically small town life, so think Letterkenny but less comedic.
Mm-hmm.
And it's basically like small town Oklahoma life, and it follows this main character Sam, and then
well, don't watch it with your mother. You'll never hear the end of it.
maybe.
Why couldn't you be more like a cousin?
Well, I can't be like him in the very specific way that he is.
Oh, Fegele?
He's super mega gay.
Oh.
It's not a bad thing, except that his mom outed him to a mass email to everyone. She didn't mean to. She hit reply all instead of reply.
Damn.
And she actually outed him via email to the entire family.
Outed by a Luddite.
Yeah.
Good gosh.
No, yeah, she was a really good lady. It just happened to be that way. But what's funny is where he's at character-wise in season 2, where I'm watching right now, seems like it's a lot of his real life situation, because he grew up in a very churchy Lutheran home. And like in the show, he was part of a church, but he was hiding his gayness somehow.
It might be a pain in the ass,
Well, I don't know if in the show, I don't know if he's explored a lot of his actual proper homosexuality. He just knows he's not straight. But I don't know if he's had in the show any gay relationships. That's where he's at right now in season 2. But he was part of a church, and then he was hosting an underground gay nightclub sing-off situation in the church on off hours. And so he got kind of booted out of the church for doing that. It wasn't doing anything wrong, but it was literally a whole bunch of gay people would get together and basically do musicals and shit.
Yeah.
Nothing crazy, but he was, after hours gay parties in the church. Looks really bad if out of context, So right now he's struggling with whether or not he can go back to church because he has to perform a wedding for friends of theirs. So it's an interesting, and it's not a big show. It's not really a show about a lot, but it's a show about people. Like you would know, like a lot. Nothing's a crazy situation. Like they're dealing with their mom's mental illness, and she just got kicked out of the facility she was in because apparently she's very violent and rude behind the scenes. Mm-hmm. And so now they're having to take her to a specialized unit that will take care of her properly. And so that's like a whole ass episode. as like, and it's a pretty big deal. And they worried about losing their dad's farm because he got too old and couldn't take care of it and didn't want to ask for help and also didn't want to put any more stress on their mom who had a fucking stroke in season 1. So like it's a lot of real situations. So you kind of feel for him. But on the other hand, it's also pretty boring.
I hope your cousin hears this.
He might. I don't know.
Cousin Jeff. It's boring, apparently.
It's slightly boring. I mean, but it's also boring in the way that everyday life is boring. You find yourself in shitty situations like they did in one episode, which was literally like, I can't believe they put this on TV. Literally, they ate some stuff at a get-together that was, what do they call it? Cincinnati sushi?
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Explosive diarrheas?
Yes, and they filmed
gastrointestinal
distress. They filmed her, so they're best friends. So it's Sam and Joel. So she calls him like, hey, she doesn't want to say, hey, I'm having horrendous shits. But like she's on the phone and you could tell on the other end when they cut to the camera, he's also on the toilet. So they're both having horrendous explosive diarrhea and having to try to mute while they're exploding the toilet.
On that same vein,
no.
I saw a Oculus Rift poker game someone screen captured or videoed.
Yeah.
And the dude at the end of the table was quite literally having explosive diarrhea.
What?
And you could see his character.
Oh my God. So he's on the toilet while doing an Oculus meeting?
Yes, and everybody else at the table's just appalled, laughing their asses off.
God.
That's enough. That's enough. That's goosh, goosh. Oh.
Makes me wonder if that's where they got the idea for that scene. Because so they keep pulling the phone away and trying to mute, and then Sam panics. And she fucking tries to mute and drops her phone, and it's now on the floor in front of her. She definitely can't reach over to get it, and so now she's like, "Oh my God!" Like,
I need to try to find it for you. It was fantastic.
Yeah, send me that video if you can. But the funny part is the ultimate end of the joke. What could make that possibly worse?
Other than dropping your phone in the toilet?
Not in the toilet, in front of the toilet. What would make that whole shitty situation worse?
Talk to me.
You turn around.
Oh no!
And there's no toilet paper.
Oh, I thought you meant she turned around to get her phone and just Jackson Pollock the fucking wall.
No. That's what she was worried about. That's why she didn't reach for the phone. But she finally finishes and literally reaches back, and there's no toilet paper. And then she remembers the toilet paper's still in the bed of my truck. I mean, like that's in that case, you just get in the shower, right? There's no other way around that, right? Like you just hop in the shower immediately. So like. It's funny because like you feel like you know these people. Like you know how Seinfeld was a show about nothing? This is a show about stuff, but it's like everyday stuff, ever so slightly exaggerated.
Right.
Did you find it?
Maybe.
Well, that's pretty big. That's a pretty big maybe there, Jeff.
Jeef. Yeah, I'll find it later.
It's a big maybe Geef.
I need to go through 3 or 4 of
I'm
them.
gonna make you Geef now.
No.
You've now been devolved to Geef.
No.
I am Geef. I am here for my extra gerb. That needs to be a shirt too. Like it needs to be like a weird like alternate version of your face. Like not quite you, but you recognizable as you. I am Geef. I am here for extra gerb.
Just put me in your Halloween costume.
No. I don't think you'd fit. The jacket,
you weigh more than I do. How would I not fit?
It's big on me. Like I mean, like you might.
Yeah.
I mean, like the pants probably won't fit.
40. 3X.
Yeah, the pants might fit you, but the jacket probably is big enough. It probably would.
Yeah.
Yeah, but a belt you'd probably be hanging more over your belly than it does for me.
But yeah, I wear under the Dunlap.
Yeah, but so do I. But I'm saying like
that's how
but you're taller and your belly sticks further out.
True.
I'm more of a gumdrop shape.
Yeah, you're more fat all over. I'm just fat here.
Yeah. Centrally fat. I mean, I'm mostly fat in the belly. I do have the boobs, but that's unavoidable. Yeah. But either way, so no, that show I started watching it again. I was like, thank God they had like a minor recap because basically it picks up not a couple weeks after the first season ended. I like that. So there's no major time shift. And then her sister, who is like all about appearances and seeming famous and shit like that, she's going through like a horrendous divorce and not wanting to call it a divorce. And all this other shit, and while also trying to get their kid off to college and all this other stuff, and like trying to pretend everything's okay. and she just becomes Instagram famous for a thing that was quite funny. And I'm like, oh, I remember that. I was like, that's great. That's fucking great. So, yep, that's where I'm at. Oh, and I watched Transformers 1, by the way. I forgot to mention that, the new Transformers movie.
Okay. Suck?
It didn't suck, but it was definitely not for me. It had good themes, decent action. Absolutely hated B127, which is Bumblebee before he's Bumblebee. He's purposely annoying, and he's always annoying, and I was really, really hoping they would kill him. Like, it's pretty bad when you're rooting for the bad guy to kill one of the main characters because he's so fucking annoying.
Mm-hmm.
I also didn't like the look of a lot of it. It had a weird, they had a weird anodized metal shiny.
It looked like, what was that cartoon about the life in the computer? Reboot.
Reboot, yeah.
It looked like Reboot to me.
In a way, because everything is super shiny and polished.
Yeah.
But that's actually part of the story as to why. Because it turns out the bad guy is not the bad guy. The bad guy is one of the good guys. You see throughout the story. But there's like this whole lying about the history of Cybertron, what really happened. And of course, Optimus, who isn't Optimus in this movie yet. He was Orion Pax, his original form. And his best friend, D16, who is Megatron before Megatron.
Okay.
Showing how they become Optimus Prime and Megatron, it's been done before in many different ways. But this is a new mythology.
But especially before they become, antagonistic.
Yes, they were best friends. Yeah. So it builds on some of the comics and then some of the games and stuff, because there's the main G1 continuity, which went on for quite some time, especially in Japan. And then there's the comic books continuity, which is completely different. And then there's the aligned continuity, which is basically the High Moon video games and Transformers Prime and stuff like that. Kind of the same universe. You could see how they could get from point A to point B and still be the same universe. So there's enough gray behind the scenes that you could see how we get from here to there. Mm-hmm. But it isn't G1. But then this feels like a prequel to the starting point of the aligned continuity. You could see how they would get from here to there, and it's okay. And it's fine for a kid's movie. Unfortunately, they didn't make it quite good enough for the people who definitely wanted to see it. The Transformers nerds, the hardcore nerds. I'm not that hardcore. I like the toys. But when it comes to the series, I want it to actually be a decent story. This was an okay story surrounded by a lot of the same problems you mentioned before. Formulaic comedy for comedy's sake. Not that it helps the story in any way.
Yeah.
And then also forced conflict between characters that generally wouldn't have had conflict. Mm-hmm. That was part of the thing. But it was also overall a decent starting point.
Forced conflict. You mean kind of like the old Orange County Choppers? That kind of forced conflict? Because that was annoying as hell to me.
Damn, did you hear that? The rattling of the details?
I thought that was you having a fucking...
No, that's somebody going up the stairs.
Creeping fart.
No, that's somebody going up the stairs. I mean, forced conflict in that, you got one character who's kind of in charge, kind of bossy and wants perfection, and then hates these other guys who are really hard workers and stuff just because occasionally they're a thorn in her side. Mm-hmm. And then, after an upset... they continue to be antagonistic, even though they're now along for the ride. It's kind of stupid. It's okay, but you just saw the same thing I just saw. Why are you still being a dick to me? Mm-hmm. It's I get it. I cost you your job, but hello, we have a way bigger fucking problem to deal with here. Stop being a dumb bitch, But then also Bumblebee is just completely unforgivable in that movie.
Really?
Completely. Because
Stupid,
silly, and never shuts up. Never shuts up the whole time, to the whole point where they actually... Oh yeah, I've seen that. Okay, sorry, Leo's sending me things. They literally duct tape his mouth shut because he would not stop talking, and then they said they knocked him out because they taped his mouth shut because even while unconscious he continued to talk.
Yeah,
and they're yeah, it's so it's just so stupid.
So that's why they took his voice box out.
I was so hoping that's what was going to happen. I shit you not. I said
that would have made it perfect.
it would have. I would have been so happy if Megatron had ripped out his voice box because he was so fucking tired of him by that point. The evolution of Megatron through the movie is great. The evolution of Orion Pax to being Optimus Prime,
What you don't get the evolution of a leader?
You do, but it's kind of it rushes to the end.
So he's kind of hesitant to.
Well, he doesn't want to be leader.
Yeah.
Orion Pax didn't want to be leader either way. And in this case, Megatron, because they're both minors, and the whole point is that they've been enslaved from birth and don't know it.
Working in a mine.
Yes.
Okay.
They're mining Energon. So the whole point is that Energon stopped flowing on Cybertron, and they need to mine it to keep alive. Nobody knows why at that point. Why the Energon stopped flying?
Yeah.
It literally was. It was literally the government's fault. One particular person in government, to be fair. And then, yes. And so the whole idea is they team up, they become friends, they discover the truth about everything while looking. They decide to go on this grand quest for the McGuffin. And then they discover.
Who's the McGuffin?
The McGuffin is the matrix of leadership.
Okay.
McGuffin is the item or thing that everyone in the movie is after.
No, the Grand McGuffin.
Yes, so the McGuffin of the movie is a matrix of leadership. That's the thing that designates who's in charge.
Okay.
It disappeared quite some time ago.
So they didn't call it the McGuffin.
No.
Oh, that was a Shokyism.
No, McGuffin is the technical term for the item in question. Anything in a movie that everyone is after is called a McGuffin.
Okay.
That is a technical term.
That's news to me.
Yes. Well, you're not.
You're making shit up again.
Nope.
Yep.
It's 100% a thing. This is why, if you go back to watch my Transformers 5 review from many, many years ago, that movie literally has 3.5 MacGuffins.
Okay.
And you have to watch the movie to find out why it's half a MacGuffin. It's so stupid. It's so too many MacGuffins. It's good enough when there's one.
I wish you'd stop saying McGuffin.
When there's one MacGuffin, it totally makes sense. It's the Ark of the Covenant. It's the MacGuffin. You know, that kind of shit. You know, anything like that where there's a singular object or maybe even one or two objects that link together that is the driving point of the plot. That is a MacGuffin. The what?
8.
Oh.
I'm counting MacGuffins.
Are you counting your own?
9.
Yeah. You count. So there's a lot of MacGuffins in
10.
So I don't even know where the name came from. I think there was a very specific thing that was actually named that, and somebody went, "Hey, you know what? All of these things
Kind of like
count."
the paleontology term thagomizer.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Or the universal Greebly. You know what the Greeblies are. How do you know that? Damn, you really know nothing. So the universal Greebly is something that ILM puts on all of their like spaceship models and stuff like that. It's the same tiny part because it was so ubiquitous in model kits that it ends up on everything in Star Wars. So the universal Greebly is literally a part to the point that I don't have it out. My Star Trek ships were...
You don't have many of them out.
No, yeah. So the Star Destroyer up there has some on it, but the Millennium Falcon, which is in that box, I believe, never built it yet, but it's in there. It actually has them molded in because they did 3-dimensional scans of the remaining actual bigatures that they made for the movies. So that like surface wise, it's a perfect replica, including the universal Greeblies that are on there. Would you stop counting it? Go if you really want to hear it a lot. Go watch an Adam Savage model building thing, and he will say.
I love Adam
38
Savage.
times.
Yeah,
that's how I learned.
I've been watching Tested since it was since it became Tested.
Since it was Jamie and Adams Tested.
Yeah,
way back in the day. That's how I learned what universal Greeblies were. Shut up. Is that 6? Look, I'm saying it a lot on purpose. But the point is, that's what a MacGuffin.
11.
how something like that gets a name in the zeitgeist.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I don't even... there may have been a thing that was actually called that, and then they went, we all kind of have these in our movies, and then everybody just started calling it that from there on.
There you go.
I think is what happened. But either way, that was the point in Transformers 1. We are given this one singular McMuffin.
Thank God.
I was seeing if you would count it or not. And that's what everybody chases after, and then builds a story upon that. Not a terrible story, just the stuff that they did that they didn't have to do was the annoying shit.
Okay.
But like I said, Megatron's story, actually really cool, because you see his descent into being actually evil.
Good.
He was just kind of like anti-government at the beginning, and then he turned pure fucking evil by the end. And you see it literally happen on screen. The actual like final switch that flips, you see it, and that's a great moment. But the only other thing I'll say is a criticism I think most people have said. They needed to make their voices sound a little bit more robotic and a lot less just human. Like, you have this grand moment of all these like spiritual fucking dead primes talking to you, and they just sound like they're talking me to you, even though it's like God talking to you. You'd think there'd be like big booming fucking voice. No. You would think that these robots would sound remotely digital at all. Nope. They just sound like people.
Yep.
Not to mention, by the end of it, because Chris Hemsworth, a.k.a. Thor, is doing this version of Optimus Prime, by the end of it, as he's evolving, he starts putting on an Optimus Prime voice, trying to sound like Peter Cullen from the 80s.
Really?
And it sounds so fucking bad by the end. And I'm like, guys...
Should have just done his own thing.
For the rest of it, he did.
Yeah.
It was just by the time he literally has evolved into being Optimus Prime, his voice has changed, which makes sense because he's literally twice as big as he used to be.
They could have done that with a modulator and let him.
They should
do
have.
his own thing.
They should have modulated the voice. But I argue now that they need to do with Optimus Prime what they do to Darth Vader. Peter Cullen just needs to sign over the voice to be used in perpetuity for Optimus Prime, so he never has to voice again. He's fucking like 83. He never needs to get in the fucking voice studio again.
Right. And that is an iconic voice that we grew up with.
100%. And even though there are other people who've done Optimus Prime over the decades, like David Kaye did a really solid job in some of the animated ones, I think he's great, personally. But, you know, and the argument was, we needed a new Optimus Prime. I was like, and that's fine, but don't use fucking Thor as your voice.
Get Warburton after it.
I was like, I mean, Warburton would be... Warburton was in Transformers.
He was.
Or at least was a guy pretending to be, like, doing a voiceover. He was Sentinel Prime in the animated series.
Okay.
Yeah, so he was the douchebag in that one. He was a super douchebag. I think it was Warburton or somebody pretending to be like...
Yeah.
And he was modeled after the Tick, too. Like, he had the big fucking chin and, like... antenna,
and he talked in prose all the time.
Kind of.
Yeah.
Well, he just did the voice anyways. He wanted to sound super.
The riders on the Tick, both of them are fantastic.
Still never watched the new one. It's fine. I'm not interested.
I've watched the older one like 3 times now, just because it cracks me up so much.
Imagine if they did a movie. Maybe they should do an animated Tick again. Get away. I think that because remember we had the Voltron discussion a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
I think that we need to.
I think doing a new animated Tick would be great.
Yeah.
Or make it a series.
Yeah, new animated series for a Tick. It would be great. Now, don't make it like the crappy animation from the 90s.
No, make it good.
But don't make it CG either.
Yeah.
Like, keep it animated, but don't...
Then you can have all the action scenes you want just being as crazy as you want them to be.
Yeah, and then you can do the voices however you want to.
Because unlike the Tick, they had to hide so much of the action because they were on a very, very tight budget.
Yeah.
With like 6 sets.
And I also have grown tired of seeing dude in blue muscle suit. It's a little weird at this point. I think we're at a day and
with
age.
no seams, no nothing.
Yeah. Like, how does he pee?
For real.
How does he poop? We know he does. How does he do it?
Does he have a cloaca?
I mean, we know he's just a guy in a suit. We know that for a fact. But it is a seamless suit.
But he's committed to the role.
Very. So he must have some sort of like microtech or something that opens up a hole just big enough for his butt. Like just a little poop chute. And it just goes and then it closes right back immediately.
Oh, like iris.
Yeah, like an iris.
A literal turd cutter.
Yeah. That's how guys, as we're wrapping this up, how do you think the Tick shits?
Or do you think he has to take off his onesie?
I don't know that he can.
Right.
No, wait. I think there was a shot of him mask only in like white underwear in the cartoon. I could be wrong.
Okay, because I never saw it in the 2016 or the 2000.
Yeah, no live action shows he ever takes it off, but I could be wrong. I could totally be misremembering.
That gurgling toilet episode is quickly becoming one of my favorites.
I told you. That's the one thing I remember.
That and the scene in the DMV killed me.
Yeah, DMV is pretty funny. I always like the side characters, like Batman Will and Lady Liberty.
Yeah.
They're my favorites. But the one thing that really makes me sad is that in the live action version, they never got the chair face. I was like, I want to know how the fuck they're going to do a chair face character. It has to be full CG or CG head, anyways. The guy literally has a fucking chair for a head.
Yeah, get into the newer one if you can, because you can barely tell the difference between the guy and Warburton. It's the same stupid shit, and it's funny and entertaining.
Yeah, I guess so.
And the Arthur character's better. I think the new Arthur characters are better. I say new 10 years ago, 8 years ago.
Yeah, I was going to say that tech show has been out for a while. That was early Amazon days, right?
The newest one was 16. The other one was 2000.
Fuck, that's 8 years.
Yeah.
Dude, it's crazy to think how much has happened in the last 8 years.
And how much we haven't consumed or watched, or how much is being made.
It's the problem of literally too much.
Yeah.
It's too much. Even now, like the other day, I scrolled through 4 different streaming services and I just went, okay, like I'm going to go to YouTube.
Oh, pretty much. That's been my go-to. If sometimes it's overwhelming and just like, that's comfortable. I'm going to watch that.
Oh, I was just reminded of something. I did a purchase this past weekend.
You purchased?
From the Mighty Car Mods.
Ooh.
They have a new poster.
Nice.
Because they're starting a new project from an old car.
Well, I did a purchase.
Uh-oh.
I got I might have told you, the Steam Deck
Yes,
OLED.
you told me.
Yeah, I've been loving that thing.
Okay, you haven't told me about your experiences with it yet, but we'll talk about that next week. Yes.
Preface, it's nice.
Yes. So I will say that I did order a new Mighty Car Mods poster because they're starting. Did
they do the same kind of pencil drawn cartoon?
It's the same artist.
It looks great.
But it's their old 240 they did about 8 years ago, where they put the GTR motor in it. So they're revamping that in a new project.
Speaking of cars, still don't have the wagon yet. My buddy's still finding little things.
Really?
He's doing a solid. He's getting all the little things done right.
Prefixing it.
Yes.
Cool.
So I'm not
very good.
basically landed with the POS.
Yeah. Since you mentioned the Stream Deck, I've also been gaming.
Yeah, what you been doing?
Mario Party.
Of course.
Well, my cousin fucking brought it over, and I got addicted. And so I bought it this past weekend, and Jessica and I played it for like 4 fucking hours yesterday.
Yep.
While we were doing laundry.
I'm running a Red Dead Redemption 2 right now.
Yeah. And
doing every single side mission before I can continue the main.
Of course. So I'd only played the party games, like where it's you and 4 other people.
Yeah.
I didn't do any of the single player stuff. So last night after Jessica kind of went to bed early, because that time change fucked us up yesterday. Totally fucked us up.
Really? I slept through it.
Beautiful. Totally fucked us up. Because we went to breakfast at what we thought was 10 a.m.
Well, see,
it was 8 a.m.
Here's the deal. Everything I do is at night, so the day doesn't matter to me at all.
Yeah. Well, our phones were correct. We got in the car. The car wasn't correct. We get to the restaurant. Apparently, they had computer problems overnight. So when we got there for breakfast, when we finished eating, we got in the car at the same time we left. So we were really confused. We're like, wait, hold on. It's only 9 now. I was like, wait, when? Damn, we left the house early. We're like, no wonder. It was fucking weird. Either way, no, with the Mario Party thing, these single player modes, they actually bring you back to like the good old Wii days where you have to do a lot of actual getting up and moving.
Oh, really?
So they have a
So you're stomping around the living room?
Wasn't stomping. standing in one place. They have rhythm games where you have to cut, like it's literally like a rhythm kitchen. So like you have to cut stuff or flip stuff or smash things in rhythm. So you've got the fucking singular unit and doing that, but the flying games were the hard ones. So you actually have to flap. You have to fucking flap to gain elevation. You turn to dive. You pull back to pull back up or hover. Well, or fall is what happens. And just doing that. Dude, I did that for like 45 minutes yesterday. And it was fun because it's one limited little world, but there's shit to find.
Well, get some wrist weights and keep playing.
They're weighty enough. The thing is, like, you don't have to have your arms like way the fuck out. You can sit on the couch and just do this motion.
But still, get some wrist weights.
But there is the unfortunate. No, I would like that. There is the unfortunate. There's a couple of the games that the motion they have you do is very unfortunate as a gentleman. One of them is you're trying to pickaxe your way through a mountain as fast as possible. So you're literally
furious tapping.
literally, I could plow through that fucking mountain in 5 seconds.
Because you're a professional.
The computer can't do it in 25 seconds. I did it in 5. Like literally just, and I'm already done, and I'm just sitting there waiting.
Half a lifetime of practice.
Half. Some of us started early, sir. Either way, no, that's how I've been spending some free time lately. Look, it felt good to get back into gaming.
Yeah.
Because I hadn't done anything in a while. I still need to buy some more of the bigger games like Spider-Man 2 and stuff like that.
That's stuff I'll be getting into. I'm looking at the Batman game.
Which
Any of them?
well,
I've never played
the
any of them.
Arkham series.
Yeah, the Arkham series.
Okay, so there's a lot of good ones and a couple bad ones. From what I've heard, but that is a massive, expansive type game like that too, where you can wander the whole city doing a million side.
Yeah,
missions.
I like games like that.
Yeah.
Except I couldn't get into Elder Scrolls,
No, that's way
and
harder.
I couldn't get into The Witcher.
Really?
I mean, just the combat layout, kind of like
yeah.
kind of like what is it? Assassin's Creed. That combat system's difficult to. Yeah,
I never
it takes a lot of practice.
I never got into Assassin's
I'm
Creed.
so accustomed to first-person shooters, stuff like that.
Yeah. And that's actually Jordan and I talked about that last week because he's got more shooter games and stuff like that than I do at this point.
Yeah.
He's like, "Oh, you got a PlayStation?" It's like, cool. It's like, "You ever play any of the Call of Duties?" I'm like, "No." It's like
I'll probably get on.
I was a Halo guy. It's like I was a Halo guy.
I'm mainly looking for campaign only.
Yeah.
I'm running there with no network connection or anything when I'm at work, so I'm looking for good campaign. So
I was gonna say you're on Steam. You could do a lot of other things.
I can, but if anybody out there has any good recommendations for solid campaign games that'll keep me going for a while, let me know. Hit us up.
You should do the Five Nights at Freddy's franchise while you're sitting in the van alone in the dark. I don't know, because it's a lot of puzzles and shit like that. You might find it fun.
I like puzzles.
Yeah, and plus it's all on Steam for like really fucking cheap.
Yeah.
You can get most of the games for like $2, and like even the newer ones are reasonably priced.
Mm-hmm.
And some of those are like straight up like the newest Five Nights at Freddy games are actually like wandering around and doing shit instead of staying in one spot and clicking in directions. So, and they're building out an actual story. Either way, we got to get out of here. It's already basically time for you to vamonos. So, guys, make sure you're doing a like and subscribe thing here and everywhere else, and make sure you leave a rate, comment, answer the questions. We give questions throughout this episode,
Or don't. That's kind of your call. But
well,
we'd like it if you would.
Yeah, or write in or leave voicemails or something.
Tell us your thoughts,
We would like some fan interaction.
comments,
please.
questions, concerns.
Yes, and then so I'm hoping Jordan. He hasn't messaged me back yet, but hopefully he will be showing up here shortly, and I will induct him into the Awkward Avengers or Offenders. What are we? Awkward Offenders.
You got to throw that my way, man, because I got to have a say in.
Maybe, but you won't be here.
Yeah, but that's because you're kicking me out.
Well, I'm being nice. I'm letting you go so you can eat and nap.
Yeah, I do have to get to work in like 3 hours.
You got to get to work in like 3 hours, and I got to get the men's group in like an hour and a half. So, well, actually, that might not give us enough time to actually record. We'll see. Sometime soon, we're probably going to be hosting men's group here.
Okay.
So, yeah, maybe one day you can stick around.
Maybe.
If you don't have, if you don't have Legion.
I'll always have Legion.
Well, un-Legionify for one night.
Well, I'm now a Legionnaire, so I kind of have to.
Oh, well, that's dumb.
My wife's with the Ladies Auxiliary. My son's with the Sons of the American Legion. So we turn it into a family thing.
See, I never joined in on that part.
Yep. You can if you can find your dad's DD-214.
Well, I mean, he was a part of the American Legion. I just never got in on being a part of it.
Okay.
Yeah. And he's not necessarily a member anymore.
Yeah.
But, I need to, maybe check in with my parents. It's been a while.
Ever since you were over there burning.
Yeah, it's been a while. But since now we have rain, I can go burn the trash that is piled up out front.
Not until they lift the burn ban.
They have.
Okay, good.
Because we got so much rain, they did lift it. Well, for normal usage. They can burn. So after the last 2 days, there's no burn ban right now. There's flooding right now. It's fine. All right, guys. So we'll see y'all next week. Remember as always.
No, okay, bye.
No, but we always forgot to do we never do the actual thing. We just say "okay, bye" in the middle of a sentence.
You never told me what the actual thing.
Well, the actual thing is it's it's been a minute. And with that.
And with that.
Yes. So and with that. Okay, bye.
Okay, bye.
It's been so long, I forgot. I was like we just been buying on emergencies.